Parker stepped through the massive oak doors of the Harrington mansion in Beverly Hills, the California sun warm on his back, but his chest felt like ice. In that split second, little Noah, 4 years old and full of innocent energy, ran straight to him, those sapphire eyes flecked with gold locking onto Parker's own identical gaze. And the boy's delighted squeal cut through the foyer like a blade. "Your eyes are like mine." The entire family froze. Richard, Lydia, their daughter Claire, and Parker standing rigid in his tailored suit, as if time itself had slammed to a halt. Parker's mind exploded with a storm he could barely contain. How did I let it come to this? 5 years ago, I gave Eli everything. My heart, my future. Even the seed that created this beautiful boy through the surrogate we chose together to prove our love was real. And now I'm standing here as the new housekeeper, hiding behind a fake reference, praying they won't see the truth screaming from Noah's face. I thought walking away would protect him, protect us from the world that hates men like me loving men like Eli. But every night since then I've woken up empty, questioning if love was ever enough against money and reputation. Richard's cold stare burned into him, and Parker forced a calm smile, gripping his small bag tighter. "Good morning. I'm Parker, the new housekeeper. Thank you for the opportunity." Inside, the guilt clawed deeper. I chose to disappear so Eli could keep his inheritance, his place in this world of power lunches and charity galas. But now Noah's eyes are betraying us both. And I don't know if I can pretend anymore that I'm not his father, that Eli isn't the only man I've ever truly loved. Lydia recovered first, her pearls clicking as she stepped forward, voice polished but edged with something sharp. "Welcome, Parker. Noah, darling, come here." But the boy clung to Parker's leg for a moment longer, and Parker felt his heart shatter into pieces he had tried so hard to glue back together. In his thoughts, the memories flooded unbidden. The night Eli had whispered, "Let's make a family. Just us. No one else needs to know." The clinic visits, the surrogate's kind smile, the first cry of their son that they shared in secret before Richard found the messages and threatened to ruin Eli's life if he didn't end it. Parker had agreed to leave, taking the money they offered as severance, telling himself it was the noble choice. No. Kneeling to gently ruffle Noah's hair, he wondered if nobility had only been cowardice in disguise. Eli stood in the background, his posture perfect like the heir he was trained to be. But Parker could feel the panic radiating from him without a word spoken. What is he thinking right now? That I'm here to destroy everything he built on lies? Or does him still ache the way I do every single day? The butler led Parker to the servants' quarters, a neat room with a view of the manicured gardens. But once alone, Parker sank onto the bed, head in hands, the weight of his decision crushing him. Coming back was selfish. I know that. I told myself it was for Noah, to be near my son even if from the shadows, to watch him grow and maybe one day tell him the truth when he was older. But seeing Eli again, even for that brief moment, stirred everything I buried. The love, the betrayal, the burning question of whether I had the right to disrupt this fragile peace. Society had taught me from childhood that men like me didn't get happy endings. Not in circles like this where whispers could topple empires. Richard Harrington's empire. If they connect the dots, Eli loses it all, and Noah grows up in the crossfire of scandal. Parker's chest tightened with a moral knife twisting inside him. Is it fair to force Eli to choose again between me and his family? Am I the villain for wanting what we created? Dinner preparations pulled him into motion, the kitchen bustling with staff who eyed the new guy curiously. But Parker's focus stayed inward. Every plate he set reminded him of the meals he and Eli had shared in cheap apartments before the money and status pulled them apart. When Noah wandered in later, escaping his nanny, pointing at Parker with a grin and saying pretty eyes like Daddy's secret pictures, Parker laughed softly to cover the terror. The nanny brushed it off as child's imagination. But Parker knew the clock had started ticking. In the hallway that evening, Eli finally cornered him, voice low and strained. Parker, what the hell are you doing here? This isn't safe. Parker's reply came out steadier than he felt. I needed to see him. To see you. The air between them crackled with years of unsaid things. Eli's hand hovering near his before pulling away. Parker's thoughts raced. He's still so beautiful. Still the man who made me believe we could defy everything. But the fear in his eyes tells me nothing has changed. I chose to leave once for his sake. Can I do it again? Or has the price become too high? As night settled over the mansion, Parker lay awake, the silence amplifying his inner battle. The family already whispered about the resemblance. The storm was coming, and he wondered if any of them would survive the choices they had made. The morning light filtered through the mansion's tall windows as Parker moved through his new routine. But every task felt like walking on broken glass. Noah's eyes haunted him from the moment he woke. That perfect match staring back in his mind's eye, forcing questions he had avoided for years. Why did I agree to let Eli claim him alone? The surrogate papers listed Eli as the sole parent. My name erased to protect us. But now those sapphire flecks with gold are the proof I can't hide from anymore. Parker polished the silver in the dining room, his hands steady on the outside while inside regret boiled. I thought leaving would let Eli live the life his parents demanded. Straight, successful, heir to billions, but every night alone in my old apartment I replayed our last fight. The way he said, I can't lose them. Parker, they're all I have, and I walked away believing love meant sacrifice. No. Seeing Noah run through the halls calling for Daddy Eli, Parker felt the knife twist deeper. Is it love to stay silent? Or is silence the real betrayal? Eli avoided him all morning, barking orders about the garden party preparations. But Parker caught the stolen glances. The way Eli's jaw clenched when Noah tugged Parker into a game of blocks on the playroom floor. In that quiet moment, Parker's thoughts flooded with a past they shared. The college party where their eyes met across the room. The first kiss in the rain. The night they decided on the surrogate because this child will be ours forever. No matter what the world says, Eli had insisted on Parker's contribution, saying, I want him to carry your light in his eyes, a romantic promise now turned weapon. The family lunch brought the first real crack. Richard sat at the head of the table, discussing business deals, while Lydia chatted about society events. But when Noah climbed onto Parker's lap uninvited and said, You smile like the man in Daddy's locked box, the room went still. Parker felt Eli's panic like a physical blow, his own heart racing with a dilemma. Do I laugh it off and protect the lie? Or do I finally speak the truth that could free us all but destroy Eli's world? Eli's inner voice must be screaming too, Parker thought, watching him force a smile. He's trapped between the man he loves and the son he claims, between the father who would disown him for being gay and the child who deserves both parents. After lunch, Eli pulled Parker into the library. Door closed, voice shaking. You can't do this. Noah is happy here. My parents think he's from a short relationship I had with a woman after college. If they find out about us, Parker met his eyes, the old love surging despite the pain. And what about me? I gave up everything so you could keep this life. Was it worth it? Eli's face crumpled for a second, the mask slipping. Every day I question it. But coming out would mean losing the company, the respect, everything my father built. You'd be dragged into the spotlight too. Parker. The headlines. The judgment. Parker's mind reeled with the weight of that truth. Society hadn't changed enough. Gay men still paid prices in boardrooms and country clubs. Yet holding Noah earlier had awakened a father's instinct he could no longer ignore. Is it selfish to want my son to know me? Or is it cruel to let him grow up believing his other father never existed? The afternoon dragged with chores, but Parker's thoughts never quieted. He watched Eli from afar, coaching Noah on the piano, and felt the ache of what they lost. The moral tangle tightened, stay and risk exposure. leave and abandon his child again. By evening, when Claire mentioned casually how Noah's eyes reminded her of someone, the suspicion seeded deeper. Parker retreated to his room, pacing, the emotion heavier now than the shock of arrival. I came here thinking I could endure the distance, but seeing Eli's pain mirrored in my own is breaking me faster than I expected. What if the truth sets us free, but costs Noah his home? The night brought no answers, only the growing certainty that choices once made could no longer be unmade without someone paying dearly. Dinner that night turned the mansion into a pressure cooker, every clink of silverware amplifying the tension Parker carried in his chest. Noah sat between Eli and Lydia, but his eyes kept drifting to Parker serving the courses, that innocent gaze pulling at threads Parker tried to sever. I can't keep pretending this is just a job. Every time he calls Eli Daddy, I feel the lie like a weight on my soul. The same lie I helped create to shield us from people like Richard who see men like us as threats to their legacy. Richard dominated the conversation with talk of mergers and image. But when Noah pointed across the table and said, "Parker has eyes like mine," Grandpa, Richard's fork paused midair. The room chilled. Parker's mind screamed in the silence. This is it. The moment I feared. Will they see the resemblance now? Connected to the surrogate records Eli buried? Lydia's hand trembled slightly on her wine glass, her thoughts probably racing to protect the family narrative she had crafted. Eli's face drained of color, his internal battle visible in the way his shoulders tensed. Parker could almost hear Eli's thoughts. I chose you over him once. Parker. But now with Noah looking at you like that, I don't know if I can choose again. The prejudice Richard had drilled into them all surfaced fast. Coincidence, Richard snapped. But his eyes narrowed on Parker with clear disgust. New staff should know their place. Parker swallowed the hurt, thinking how many times Eli had described his father's views on that lifestyle, the same views that had forced their breakup. Is family love conditional on hiding who you are? The question burned as Parker cleared plates, his hands steady only through force of will. Later in the kitchen, alone with his thoughts, the emotion swelled heavier. I sacrificed my rights as a father so Eli could have this. But watching Richard dismiss me like I'm nothing reminds me why we fought to have Noah in the first place, to create something purer in a world that judges. Eli found him after dessert, in the shadowed hallway, voice barely above a whisper. They're starting to suspect. You have to be careful. Parker turned, the proximity stirring old flames. Or what? We keep lying forever? Noah deserves better than secrets. Eli's eyes filled with torment. You think I don't know that? Every time I look at him, I see you. And it kills me that I pushed you away to save the empire my father built on appearances. Their conversation deepened the rift and the longing, Parker feeling the moral weight press harder. Choosing truth meant risking Eli's disownment. Choosing silence meant erasing their love again. The night deepened Parker's isolation, his monologues turning darker. I came back for connection, but now the family prejudice is closing in, and Eli's fear is contagious. What price am I willing to pay for my son to know his other father? By midnight, the mansion felt smaller, the walls echoing with unspoken accusations, and Parker realized the drama was only beginning to tear at their souls. The days blurred into a rhythm of service and stolen glances. But the inner storm in Parker raged stronger than ever as he folded linens in the laundry room. Noah's laughter from the garden mixed with a memory of Eli's touch from years ago, and Parker questioned every decision that led him here. I told myself I was strong enough to be near without claiming. But the way Eli watches me when no one is looking proves we're both still broken by the choice I made to walk away. Flashbacks hit hard during quiet moments. The clinic where they signed papers for the surrogate. Eli's hand in his, promising this child will bind us beyond what the world can break. Now that promise felt like chains. Eli pulled them aside in the study during a rare empty hour. The door locked. Their bodies close in the dim light. I can't stop thinking about us, Eli admitted, voice cracking. But my father called a family meeting. He's digging into your background. Parker's heart sank. The betrayal of their past choice resurfacing. You let him push me out once. Are you going to do it again? The question hung, heavy with a moral dilemma. Eli's eyes glistened. I was young, scared. Coming out then would have meant losing everything, including the chance to raise Noah the way I thought was safe. Parker's thoughts spiraled deeper. More raw. Is love worth the risk of destroying the stability we built for our son? The prejudice isn't just Richard's, it's the whole society that would label us unfit parents. They talked for an hour. Voices low. Hands brushing. The emotion building to a fever. Parker felt the love he had suppressed flood back, mixed with anger at the years lost. I gave you my DNA, my heart, my future, and you chose the mansion over me. Eli's response was a whisper of pain. And I regret it every second Noah asks why he doesn't have two dads like in his books. The confrontation left Parker reeling. The internal conflict sharper. Staying meant fighting for them. Leaving meant protecting Eli from ruin. That afternoon, helping Noah with a puzzle, Parker felt tears threaten when the boy said, I wish you could be my other daddy. The words cut to his core, forcing the realization, hiding is no longer protection, it's poison. Evening brought more tension as Lydia questioned Parker about his past, her tone probing. Parker's answers were careful, but inside he battled the urge to confess everything. The family legacy versus our truth. Which one truly defines a father? By the end of the day, Parker's emotions had intensified, the drama pulling him toward a breaking point he could no longer ignore. The garden party buzzed with guests, but Parker's world narrowed to the private hell of watching Noah play, while Eli stood beside a woman his parents had invited as a potential match. The jealousy and sorrow mixed into something heavier, more consuming than before. I sacrificed so he could have this facade. But seeing him smile at her while our son calls me by name in secret is tearing my soul apart. Noah tugged Parker's sleeve later, whispering, don't go away like the man in the photos, and Parker nearly broke. His thoughts raced with the cost of their choices. The surrogate had been their act of defiance. But now it felt like the ultimate betrayal to the boy. Eli found him in the pantry during the chaos, pulling him close for a brief, desperate moment. I can't keep doing this to us, Eli murmured, his voice thick with emotion. Parker's reply came from the depths. Then don't. Tell them the truth, or I will. The threat wasn't anger. It was love fighting for air. Eli's inner struggle poured out in hushed words. My father would cut me off. Parker. The business. The house. Noah's future. Everything. But losing you again is killing me slower. The conversation exposed the prejudice they faced. The societal whispers already starting amongst staff about the new guy's resemblance to the boy. Parker felt the weight crush him more intensely now. The moral question evolving into agony. Is my silence the greater sin? Protecting Eli's comfort while robbing Noah of his full story? Later, when Richard cornered him with questions about prior employment in certain circles, the homophobia veiled his concern. Parker held his tongue, but inside screamed. They see me as a threat because I love their son. The day ended with Noah falling asleep in Parker's arms during story time. Eli watching from the door with tears he couldn't hide. The emotion peaked in Parker's chest. The drama of their tangled lives demanding resolution he feared would destroy them all. The family meeting in the study turned explosive. Richard slamming papers on the desk with evidence of Parker's past relationships. You're here to ruin us, aren't you? The accusation landed like a blow, and Parker stood tall. But inside the betrayal cut deeper than ever. I came for my son, not revenge. But now the truth is out and Eli's face shows the same fear that drove us apart before. Eli stepped between them, voice trembling with the heaviest conflict yet. He's Noah's other father. We chose this together because I love him. The room erupted. Lydia gasping. Richard's face purple with rage at the gay revelation. Parker's thoughts were a whirlwind of pain and clarity. This is the price I knew. But seeing Eli finally speak it aloud fills me with hope and terror. The moral stakes had never been higher. Eli risking everything for truth. Parker ready to walk if it saved them. Threats flew. Disownment. Custody battles. But the love between them burned brighter in the chaos. Parker's heart aching with the realization that some choices leave scars no money can heal. Alone in the garden at dusk, Parker and Eli faced the abyss. Eli's hand shaking as he confessed, "I can't lose you or Noah. But the world won't let us have both." The emotion was raw, overwhelming. Parker's own tears falling as he replied, "Then we fight together. Or I leave so you don't have to choose." The internal monologues collided in their shared silence. Eli's terror of losing identity. Parker's regret for ever walking away. The betrayal of years felt fresh. The societal judgment, a wall they had to climb. But love demanded a decision with costs they both knew would mark them forever. In the final confrontation by Noah's bedside, Eli chose them, telling Richard, "This is my family now, Parker." Noah. And the truth. The fallout came swift. Partial disownment. Whispers in their circle. But the three of them stood together. The love surviving the storm. Parker held Eli close. The pain and joy intertwining as Noah slept peacefully. They had paid the price. But the awakening brought light. Was Eli ultimately right to embrace his truth despite the family fallout? Or was hiding it the wiser path for everyone's sake? True or false?